The New York Mets are in a very interesting predicament due to an injury to one of their prized free agents of the offseason. On Monday, it was reported by Mike Puma that Frankie Montas will be shut down for a significant amount of time due to a high-grade lat strain. This means the Mets will be without one of their starters for more than 3 months.
What?
This is a big issue that could expose a flaw in the Mets' approach to pitching. Let's break down what that is on the next episode of Mets Post. Let's get it. The Mets entered this offseason with several needs. They needed a big bat in which they landed the biggest bat on the free agent market in Juan Soto, even to the surprise of their own GM, David Stern.
Holy
After that, their next objective was to attack the rotation or lack thereof. They went ahead and signed Frankie Montas, Griffin Canning, a project in Clay Holmes, and finally were able to re-sign Sean Manaea. This means that David Stearns was comfortable going into the season with Kodai Senga, Sean Manaea, David Peterson, Griffin Canning, Clay Holmes, and Frankie Montas. The Mets were hoping to grow with a six-man rotation, but those dreams are long gone until someone steps up or Montas returns. So how did the Mets get here? They signed Juan Soto to the biggest contract in sports history, but then refused to entertain or pay for the big pitching names in free agency, which feels more like negligence as opposed to an attention to duty. I can't understand why the biggest pockets in the league who believe in doing whatever it takes to win would be opposed to signing someone like Corbin Burns. While Steve Cohen did acknowledge that they went beyond their budget, it feels like this team didn't take a step forward despite signing 3 new starting pitchers. They're hoping that Clay Holmes can make the jump from the bullpen to the starting rotation, that Griffin Canning can be the complete opposite of who he was last season, and that hopefully Montas can contribute somehow.
Is that what we're resorting to here? Gestapo tactics?
I won't say Kodai Senga, Sean Manaea, or even David Peterson are scrubs, but there's no clear ace that puts the fear into opposing lineups. The Mets are lacking that alpha ace that can spearhead this rotation and give you a guaranteed win during the postseason, which is why the Montas injury is such a big deal. Montas is expected to be out for 3+ months. Once the injury is healed, he will be expected to go through a full spring training of his own, which could mean that he won't make it to Queens until the middle of the summer. It's no secret that Montas has been dealing with nagging injuries for the last several years and barely trusted his body last season until he arrived in Milwaukee. This should have been a bit of a red flag for Stearns and his team. So the question now is, where do the Mets go from here? Dylan Cease is available on the market, but Cohen recently emphasized that he values the development of his players. He wants to be great at developing hitters and pitchers alike. They were able to get the most out of the guys last season, but you can't expect that to be the case every single year. Since the beginning of time, championship teams have carried a workhorse ace in their rotation. Some carry several and still do. The Mets have no clear ace. They have a revived Sean Manaea, a Kodai Senga who's coming off an injury that sidelined him for most of last season, a project in Clay Holmes, an unknown in David Peterson, and 2 pitchers who are shells of themselves in Griffin Canning and Frankie Montas. The Mets desperately need to make a move, and if it's going to cost you, then you pay the price. This is what happens when you don't chase after production in free agency. Not every bottom-of-the-barrel pitcher can be saved, and the Mets need to realize that sooner rather than later. What do you think the Mets should do about their Montas dilemma? Should they trade for an ace-like pitcher or entertain a reunion with Jose Quintana? Brandon Sproat is not expected to hit the majors anytime soon, so there's a lot of question marks regarding this rotation at the moment. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I do apologize for the 2-week delay. We just welcomed our newborn daughter, so we're getting acclimated with that. But I promise you guys, I'll be more consistent going forward. So we'll talk to you guys next week. I'm your host, Bryan Cameron, and we'll see you on another episode of Mets Post. Let's go Mets.